Thank you for being here today. We will have a wonderful webinar about sustainability and succession planning. And our speakers today are Viks. She is the former president of BPW Estonia Federation, and Christine Berridge. She is the new elected president of BPW New Zealand. Claudia Pirani from BPW Brazil. She is the club president of Sao Paulo. And Dr. Maggie Kigozi is the founding and current president of BPW Kampala Club in Uganda. Thank you very much. And thank you for our speakers. The floor is yours.
My name is Viks, and I'm the immediate past president of BPW Estonia. Estonia is an interesting country in northern part of Europe. And I would like to tell you about the sustainability and successful planning of the leadership in BPW. And at first, a few words about myself. I was the president of BPW Estonia for 3 years, from 2015 to 2018. And by the constitution of BPW Estonia, the president can be for 2 years and then re-elected for 2 years. And I was asked to be for 1 more year because BPW Estonia was celebrating the 25th anniversary at the end of the year 2017, and we had big celebrations. And I have been very active on European level, so I know all the presidents who were at that time presidents of European clubs. So I made it my heart from a job to invite as many members from other countries to Estonia to celebrate with us as possible. And why was it important? Because not exactly before that time, but before, let's say, 2014, 13, many of our members have asked that what is the purpose of being the member of an international organization if we don't see anyone or don't know anyone. So I took it to my heart and decided that we have to have people from other countries also. And fortunately, members from 8 different countries came to our celebrations, also Giuseppina Bombacchi, and it was a great gala night and also the conference about, of course, women issues. And about succession planning. And I will tell about the experience of our organization. And actually, the succession planning already starts with a new person coming to the club. And before she even becomes the member of the club, you already see that who has the potential and who has interest. And as it is home rules of our organization, then all the new members have the mentors, and the mentors should always keep the new people updated with the events, upcoming events, and also help them to get to know other members in the club. And also what we have taken as a key point with new members, at once give them tasks, at once involve them as much as you can, and especially involve them in organizing some events. That's when they get the essence of BPW and they get to know other members, and they see that this is really a great organization and a great place where I want to be. And so the succession planning. So when the new member is already the member of the club, then the more you invite, the more you ask, the more involved they will be. And I remember when I became the member of, actually wanted to become the member of BPW, I was said that at first you have to help to organize the 2000 European conference that was in Tallinn. And then it took 2 years before they accepted me as a member. So it took a lot of time. And, but the more I felt that now I'm really in the place where I want to be. So the succession planning for leadership starts actually from the very first step when the person becomes the member of BPW. And to speak more about how we have arranged the sustainability of our organization and the succession planning, then of course there are difficult moments. I think in every organization, every federation, every club, and we had setback in the year 2007. And before that, we had approximately 240 members and 17 clubs. But because of not so well chosen next presidents, it all fell apart. And there were only some 100 members left. We had a very strong president for 2 terms for 6 years. And after her, it was really difficult to choose a right person. And the person we chose on her as a club president or regional club president, she was very strong, but it didn't work out on the federation level. And that's where the problem started. So, and we were in our low 2008, 2009, and in 2010, we already decided to call the old, we call them the old members, not old by their age, but just long-time members, that they have to take action. Because they knew already that the organization is functioning. I mean, our federation is functioning and there are some problems, but they really didn't involve themselves. So we made them to be involved, and one of the long-term members became the president, and she is a very good communicator and a people's person. Then the organization started to get up again and flourish. So now we have approximately 130 members and 7 clubs. So we are growing constantly again. And so the sustainability of the federation really starts, as I said, from the very first moment when the person joins. But to choose the next president, it is a challenge. And by the constitution, the next president has to come from the board. And when I was a president and I had to give over my presidency, then the members of the board we had at that time, they were very strong, but nobody wanted to become a president. So it's always an issue that women, as even we teach ourselves that step up, step out and take the role, they still don't want. And fortunately, we had a person who had been in the board, not on this board, but let's say a few years earlier. The constitution doesn't say that it has to be the sitting board. And then she stepped out and said that I want to become a president. And she's a very good president. So sometimes you don't have to look just in the closer circle, but you can just look in the wider circle, and you will always find a person who is up to the task. And these are my experiences in BPW Estonia. And we have in our home rules and also in the constitution that the president is elected for 2 years and can be re-elected for another 2 years. And I think that the maximum of 4 years, it's it's a really good time, because a president can't be a president for too long. The organization will not develop anymore. It's not sustainable. And I also felt myself that after the second year and after the celebrations, the 6 months I had to be the president until I could give over my presidency, I was drained. I didn't have so much new ideas anymore. And actually, you start repeating yourself. So in my view, for the succession and the sustainability, it is very important that the presidents change, and every 3 years, or maximum 4 years. That's how we can keep your organization sustainable. And like in BPW, we also have the system that the next president is elected already, or chosen, not elected, but chosen 1 year before the succession is given over. And she's also already trained to be the next president, or she's given the knowledge. And the past president, immediate past president, is always the advisor. So actually there are 3 people working together to keep the organization sustainable. And that's the best way to do it. And to say that even if maybe you have some problems and you see that the person maybe is not quite the one you hoped, I mean the next potential president, then always remember, people grow, they change, they become more experienced, they grow inside. So you have to believe in the person. Sometimes even the very modest person can turn out to be a good leader. But just like we have the saying that the cat doesn't show the spots at once, or the tiger, sorry, the big tiger. So yes, the succession planning is difficult, but it is doable. And especially that when you keep in mind that the president can't, the best when she is 2, 3, 4 years a president, that you always have the next candidate. And the best will be that if there are several candidates, because then you can even choose between those 2, and then you will see who will be the better next president. But it's always, of course, in reality, it's always not like this. And my advice to everyone, if you are asked that please come and be the member of the board, at first on your club level, then on the federation level, then always do it. Because being the member of the board, then you really see what is going on in the organization, then you really understand the essence of BPW, you really get to know people, and you really know how to go on. So the succession planning. And that's what I say to every new member who comes to our federation, that when you are asked that, oh, come and join the board, always do it. It is, of course, a bit of work, but it's also fun. Then you really see what is going on. So my suggestion to everyone. And I wish you successful planning for the next presidents. Thank you.
Everybody, Christine from BPW New Zealand, just recently elected as the New Zealand president, which I'm very proud of. Just here today to speak to you about BPW, succession planning, and our sustainability as an organisation. I think it's really important that we do focus in the next 12 months, particularly on sustainability. As an organisation, things have definitely changed in the last few weeks with so many changes around the way we live, behave, have meetings due to the COVID-19 situation. It has meant that there are groups in our organisation who've had to learn how to utilise online meetings such as Zoom, Skype. The fact that we can't meet in person. In New Zealand, we can't have meetings in groups. In a lot of countries, you can't have a meeting of more than 10 people. So we need to learn how to utilise these online platforms. One of the big things about learning how to use these platforms is about utilising our members. So a lot of our members that know how to utilise these things are our ladies in business, our young women, people that have actually grown up with the IT that actually allows these types of platforms, who work in it on a daily basis. So let's bring them in, let's utilise their knowledge, yet let's make sure that they feel valued with the knowledge that they have to bring. So what we need to do is partner with these young ladies, partner with the ladies in business, make sure that what they have to offer is brought in and utilised really well. For ourselves, we've just had our AGM online. Really interesting way of doing things. Took a lot of planning, and I take my hat off to the executive that were there in the planning stages, but also our conference committee, who had to change things really fast. So they went from having a 2-day event in a venue to suddenly doing 1 day online. And we didn't just talk, we had reports, we had voting, we had elections, everything that went through there and everything online. And it was really successful. I think one of the big things that you do learn from something like that is how tiring it can be, and the need to actually take breaks, and the fact that it may not be possible to do everything in a day session. The fact that you might have to come back and not just, you can't just have a 1-day AGM, you might have to come back and have a special general meeting to complete your business, but get the stuff done that needs to be done, and it can be done. And we had members who were in their 80s as well as those in their 20s and 30s in that meeting, in that virtual meeting, and things went really well. So I do have to take my hat off to all those in New Zealand who came on board and supported that event. It was wonderful, and it was great to see you making that effort. In amongst that, what happens is that in New Zealand, we didn't have all our positions filled. So much as we ended up with myself as president, and we do have a VP who is going to work on membership, and we're really, really fortunate that that VP is Vivian Johnson, who many of you will recognise her name, as she is the young BPW sub-regional coordinator in our area, and has also been on our board previously as our young BPW member. So it's awesome to see that the mentoring and the opportunities she's been given have now come forward, and she's now standing as a member, as a VP. We had a position of treasurer filled, which was great, and the person that filled that has been there for 12 months and is now coming forward for another 12. And our young BPW, who is also coming into her 2nd year. So although not all positions are filled, it's still a great start to our executive. And of course, we have our wonderful IPP still sitting in the role. And so that means that as an organisation and as an executive, we need to look at filling the other roles. And there are 3 more roles on our executive that need filling. But it means that we can take a step back. We can look at our members, and we have some wonderful, wonderful members out there. And now we can actually shoulder tap and say to some of these people, you have the skills, you have the ability, and you have been in the organisation, maybe for a short time, maybe for a long time, but you've been there and you understand. So what you understand are our governing documents. What you understand are the aims and purpose of our organisation. And we just ask those people to actually consider and think about coming forward. Sometimes for people that's quite difficult because they feel they don't have the time or the capacity to fill that role. But in general, those roles are, they're voluntary. We're a non-profit organisation. We need people that have, yes, a little bit of time, but we're not asking you to put everything in your daily life into it. So we're asking you to remember what we're about, and we're about women. We're about women in business, we're about empowering women, and we're about giving women opportunities. And a lot of the opportunities we can give as an organisation are those such as learning about governance, learning about boards, learning about constitutions and policy and procedure, all skills that you can take forward into workplace situations. So in New Zealand, we're really fortunate to have a strong KTA program, which is Keys to Achievement. That program gives all our members the opportunity to learn those skills and learn them in different ways. So we have 3 levels, bronze, silver and gold. And at each of those levels, there is a step to learning. And those learnings will actually give you all the information and all the opportunities that you can have to gain the knowledge that will help you become a member of our executive. And people need to remember that everybody has that opportunity. It's not a select few. It is something that all membership can strive for, all membership can work for. And we just want everybody to feel that they're part of the organisation and part of the team that's going to work really well, particularly for our country, our region, because that's where we live and that's where we need to put our first support into. And we want people to be there striving to work for women in our area. Our national executive are really lucky to have had some very skilled past presidents, and those women are very happy to help mentor all our members. So as any member should, look for somebody who you feel comfortable with, who you know has that skill base, who you know will be happy to help you. And there are so many of them out there that all you have to do is reach out a hand. And I feel very, very fortunate as somebody that's just recently come into a position to have had so many helping hands put out there. So I know that personally, if I need to, and I will, all you have to do is reach out. And I think it's really important as an organisation we remember that. Reach out. Doesn't have to just be in your national organisation or just your club. There are people out there you can reach out to. And I think one of the big things we all need to work on in the next 12, 18 months is our sustainability. So we need to remember to look and see what's important for us. Are we fit for purpose? How often do we need to look at things like our constitution? And how often do we need to see that we need to make some changes to make ourselves more viable in today's world? Times have changed, and we need to remember that we need to move with them. So although we stay with the vision of BPW International, we do also need to remember that we need to move forward as well. And by moving forward, we make some changes. And some of those changes may not be how we want them to be, but they will be the reasons that we keep our organisation going. So we need to remember to partner with businesses in our community. We need to remember to collaborate with other organisations who work on similar principles that we do. make sure that those principles are the ones we follow. Don't just jump in with anybody. Make sure it works for us and for them. Make sure that we encourage our younger members, because they are our future, and without our future, we are nothing. So make sure that if you've got a daughter-in-law, a business colleague, somebody that is in that younger age group, invite them along. Show them what we're about. Make sure that you make it interesting. Show them what we can give them. And we can give them a lot, because we've all been in these positions, needing information, looking for help. So we need to get out there and support those young women, bring them into our organisation, encourage them to be part of it, and listen to their ideas. They are smart young women. They've all studied, most of them have businesses, and they are the future for us. So I thank you for listening to me. I hope some of these things are helping. And we're definitely in New Zealand going to be using some of these ideas to grow our membership, because that's what we all need to do to make us sustainable. Thank you.
I'm Claudia from São Paulo. And talking about sustainability, I think the most important point when we're talking about NGOs also is to think as a company. I know that we have a different process as an NGO, but also we need people engaged and committed. So how we can have this kind of people if we are not clear about our goals, our mission, and who we are in the market, because I think BPW is a product, okay? So also, even if we are an NGO, we are having process, procedures, and people, right? People, procedures, and products. So we need to think also in terms of company. So if we think like that, I think it's much better to be clear in the market in terms of brand, the brand BPW, who we are, what kind of public we are talking to. So that's those things make it easy, the way that we are gonna work. Okay, as a company, we have employees that they are receiving for doing something else. As an NGO, we don't have it, they are volunteers. So how we are going to engage them and have these people committed with our mission? So we need to work a little bit more. So we need to find people, the specific people that fix it with our goals and our mission. So I think in my experience here in São Paulo, as I started my turn with the club Splitted, is a very traditional club in Brazil, which was the first one in Brazil, the first one in São Paulo. So I got at the club with this kind of difficulties, like, oh, and now what we're gonna do. So I started my first turn thinking about what kind of BPW we want to be in the market. Because when we think it in the market, it's much better we bring the public that we need. So what I'm doing, what I'm saying specifically is we need to know our public, and then we can get it to the exactly public that will be contribute with the things that we need. We're talking to developing women, especially when we're talking, okay, we know that our main public is women in general, okay? But where are they? What kind of women? What are their needs? Okay, we know by our experience, but we are talking about public in general. So we have a different women in a different experiences, different cultures. So we need to know their needs first, not all of them, but some of them that can give us some researches in terms of, okay, this is the public that we want to, this is the flag that we are going to, defend. So, and then make it clear what kind of line we would like to have in our path. Because women, it's very general, right? So we have many different topics or needs or issues that we need to defend or work with. So also, when we rethink our way to be in the market, we are going to bring people that is going to be interested in our points. So I think this is the way that we can be more sustainable, like make the circle, continue. And also, of course, if they are coming, they're going to be much more committed and engaged with that, because once they are coming, it's because you could sell the idea and your flag or your mission or whatever your issue, the issue that you were defending, in a very clear way that they could, combine with that. So they come with much more motivation to be part of it. This is the main point. We need people that want to really to be part of it, not only be in the association, only to say that I am part of the association ABC. My idea was I want people here, I want members that it's really want to be, we really want to contribute, to develop the other women, that we could share knowledge, literally. So I think that this is much more the point that we want to be aware, in fact. So thank God, in this my first turn I could do it. So we rethink over everything and we rebuild the BPW image in the market. So now we have a different position as an NGO, because they know better what we do, who we are, in which places we are want to be on. So people that comes to us, it's really into it. They are within the ideas. They understand better what we want to do. So once, so this first turn, it was almost totally dedicated on that, because we lost a lot in terms of market, associated members, and as an NGO we need members to survive. And so with this branding, a new branding in the market, we could attract people that would be very much more interesting for our members, in terms of bring also some partnerships, some people and some other organizations that could add value in our position in the market. So now I would finish my turn last March, but I was invited to continue because we have the second part in this rethinking, as to say, to rebrand the image of BPW, and so the counselors understand that would be very necessary to continue this part. And as we have a very new members, we understood entering during 1 year maybe, or half a year, for them to be prepared for the next turn. So during my second turn, what we're gonna do is I invited those new members that was very motivated, and that they have a very good knowledge, different knowledges in different areas that could complement the others in terms of this idea to rethink our position in the market. And during the second turn, what we're going to do is we're going to work together. So we have developed a planning together, like rethink our website, our posts in the social media, the public that we want to, which kind of thing that we want to say those people like with the different posts and the courses and workshops, mentorings. So what we're going to do during this 1 year, 1.5 years, more or less, is developing this kind of planning. And then, of course, they are going to have a training, as to say, because we need to think about it. I can be a very good executor member, but if you put me to develop, to think, to plan things, maybe I'm not good as much as I would be. So we need to also identify the talent, who is good where, in which part, and then we put it together, these people together, then we can have this planning achieve it, as to say. So this is a part of a process. I think we need this kind of process. That it was a very big challenge that we didn't have. In fact, if we had it, we had it a long time ago. So when I got it, I started my turn. It wasn't so. It was not existent at that time. So we need to also implement process and think like this. Of course, sometimes it's complicated because it's a very traditional club and most of the members are seniors, and they always say to me, oh, but we are not a company, we are an NGO. Okay, but even if we are an NGO, we have a brand in the market, we have an image, we have our position. So of course it makes difference when we are talking about business area, because this makes big difference, for example, when we go to some company and ask for partnership, right? And or if we want some sponsors for some projects or something that we have or we need it, or we think that is going to be very good for our community or our society. So this makes difference, especially nowadays where we are talking about social media. Social media, it's everything in our life. We can prove that in according to this pandemic. So online we had a very good resistance to have things online, to have meetings, workshops, or anything that we in the beginning, before the pandemic time, we said, oh, let's do online, and they panic, so now this is part of our lives. So, and I'm sure it already was part of our life, but according to some resistance, of course, we had some things that we could manage better, this kind of thing. But nowadays, there's no choice anymore. So this is part of our life, and I think it will be for a long time. So we need to use this kind of things in our favor. So how we can, in fact, provide more things, more knowledge, more shares, even opinions, okay, and more contact. Yeah, not only like, okay, only here in São Paulo. So now we can be connected with the whole Brazil. So of course, I think I had a big challenge, but thank God also we could achieve some good points in terms of this is kind of a process that we understand that you need to re-educate people, okay? Because at the first moment, all kind of change the first thought is no, right? The first thought, the first answer, it's, oh no, it's not gonna work. This is not good or whatever. But after you say something else and you explain the objectives, why we can try it, the way that we can try it, and the reasons around this, they started to change their minds. So, of course, mindset and uh, rethink things, rethink process, rethink all product or our mission. I think this is the time that you need to rethink, re-educate, relearn everything that we have done before, because we have a new word we already had before the pandemic time. But after that, the new word will be literally different. So we need to rethink everything. So I think this is a kind of process that we could implement a part of it, but also we still have been doing this path. I think so. The second term that I'm having the opportunity to continue to have that I think shows me that we are doing in the right way. We are going in the right path in terms of thinking about market and thinking about our legacy. I think this is the most important thing. And also, of course, I think we are honoring the Magazine Philippines, her legacy that she gave us. So I think I feel that I'm honoring this kind of legacy. So this is the thing that I would like to leave in the new BPW, especially here in São Paulo, with my experience that I had a big challenge to face it. And yeah, I think that this is a part of the process, and this process is having is giving, in fact, a very good results, but part by part. Also, another thing is there is no way to think about doing everything at the same time. We need to go step by step.
I am Maggie from Uganda. I am BPW president and I've been for a few years now. I am very happy to be talking to you today to tell you more about BPW Uganda. We have been challenged in building up membership, but as a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, we have a very strong young BPW, a young BPW group that is doing very well. Just during the lockdown, they've been trained on board governance for about 4 or 5 times, and they're that keen to learn. As BPW Uganda, we have a team made up of the 2 vice presidents. We have the secretary, we have the treasurer, and a project person to look at projects when we have some, and then we have members. But we are looking at moving on. I've been president quite some time. It has not been easy to get somebody willing to replace me, but I think now we have some very smart, very relatively younger people, consultants, business women, who would take up the challenge very, very well of actually all the positions. Unfortunately, the young BPW coordinator, I think, has now just gone a year over age. for the young BPW. So she's now 36, coming to 37. So she'll probably move up into the main BPW. And I hope we can get someone as dynamic as she has been in driving the young BPW. We've been, of course, doing things that BPW does internationally. We do a lot of capacity building. We've taken our ladies through accounting, through running their business, entrepreneurship. We've got a mentorship group where young people who need mentors apply for them, and my team try to find them the most suitable mentor. And they meet once a month and try to help, especially now during the lockdown and the problem we are having right now that will affect the economy quite badly. So the business women will be struggling, as well as the employees. Companies may reduce the number of employees they have. So we may have, but so far it's still early days. As Uganda, we don't have a big problem so far. We have less than 100 cases, and many of them have gone through and they're better, and they've been discharged. So we are not doing badly on that front, and if that continues, we shall be okay. But in the meantime, this Wednesday we had a lesson on finance during difficult times. So one of our accountant consultants, she does training in her day-to-day work. She's also a flower expert. She took us through what we need to be doing as we prepare ourselves for, we don't know how long we may have this problem. So that was the last training we did last week on Wednesday. But we are also we do advocate very much, especially for the payday. The payday, we celebrate that every year with a walk, a charity walk. We've received wonderful support from our Ministry of Gender. We've received support from UNDP and UN Women. They attend and walk with us, as does the female ambassadors. The American ambassador walked with us last year and the year before that. So we do try to draw attention to the fact that women are paid less than men. So our walk has been around August because we are, about 40% less than the men. But this hasn't been very well received, I must say. We are still struggling to draw attention to that fact. The men say, we don't see the problem, what is happening? Even the women actually don't see the problem. So we keep on trying. So for sustainability purposes, we are looking at the new members. We've been there for a while. That whole team, my team, has been there. We were the founding team for BPW Uganda. And we feel it is time that some of us leave the center stage. So we have looked at our members, and we have very capable members. Because we work closely with UN Women, I was appointed by UN Women as SDG 5 ambassador for Uganda. I think that is not a position that I hand over to the new BPW president until UN Women actually appoints someone else. But at the moment, I am SDG 5 ambassador, working on equality for women at all levels. I come from the private sector, so we've been trying very hard to get the private sector to begin to advocate and to understand our issues. So we do have an expert, and we do have strong business women in education, and therefore we need to start preparing them to take over. they will actually do a fantastic job. We've been there longer, and we probably see more challenges than they will be seeing in keeping members. It has been challenging to grow our membership. We are still not very many. We have very many young BPW, but the more senior members, because there are so many other competing associations and so many events, they are always very busy. So we find it difficult to get them. We also find it difficult to get them to attend conferences and to attend, you know, even events. We were 2 of us in Korea. We hope in Egypt is closer. It'll be cheaper, and we hope we shall. More of us will be able to attend. Yes, the election should be happening very soon. We were hoping it would be in March, but because of this lockdown, we've had to postpone it. But now that we are finding it much easier to use Zoom, our meetings are going on very well. We have terrible traffic jam in Uganda, and I think that causes a lot of the people not to attend meetings because they get stuck in traffic for hours. You turn around and you go back home. So actually now, having worked with Zoom, we may find it more useful to have more meetings at home, comfortable, without having to go through traffic. So that's something that this pandemic has brought to the fore. We always knew about, you know, we have WhatsApp, we have good internet here. It's a little bit expensive for everyone, but I think most of the BPW members can easily afford it. So we will have more meetings, and maybe we can have, like New Zealand, have the AGM and have our elections online if we have more lockdown. We are now locked down for 2 weeks, and starting from today, actually. So it's 2 weeks. We don't know what will happen after 2 weeks. If we are still at home, then I think we'll begin to plan now to have the elections online and select a strong new team that will bring diverse skills, that will bring the willingness to serve. I find that people wanting to hold positions and yet not willing to serve. They just want to go away as the president of BPW, but they don't want to do anything for the members. We've seen that happen. We've seen that happen here. We've seen that happen globally. So really, we want to make sure that the people that we do elect into positions are going to be willing to not only be proud of being in the position, but serve the members and grow the members, and then be able to hand over to the next president and the next team that will be elected by the membership. As Uganda, we really wanted to become a federation. We were able to find a potential president in northern Uganda and another one in eastern Uganda, but we were not able yet to find their members, the ones that they'll be working with. But we hope we shall become a federation and be able to grow our membership if we can get more and more products that retain the members. The good thing is government has recognized BPW, as has UN, the United Nations, and we are included in the various activities that government hosts. If it's business women, I think BPW, there's another organization locally, Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. It's much older than ours and is already in many parts of the country. So we those are the two organizations that are included. We've just launched the African Women Leadership Network branch in Uganda. It's an organization that is set up at the African Union, but the Ugandan branch we've just launched, and BPW played a central role in contributing to the private sector speakers and the young speaker. We were able to, not everyone has young people. So as BPW, we are really proud that we do have young BPW and a strong team of young BPW, eager to learn and eager to grow themselves and build their capacity. So we are invited as BPW. We are recognized as the second business and professional. We are the only one that combines those two, business and professional. So for sustainability purposes, we need to start early, which we did already, to look around, to first of all decide ourselves. We need to move on, to give other people an opportunity to come in and provide something new for the members. Maybe they will do better. We hope they will do better. We'd like to see that. And we have brought it so far. We will be happy to step down, but we could, in Uganda, we tend to retain as advisors, to stay as BPW advisors. So, I am an advisor on the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, which is the overall private sector body in Uganda where all of us are members. So I'm an advisor there. We can start our own advisors group that can help in the same way that BPW International has past presidents still advising. We are hoping that so that we don't totally let go. As advisors, if you see their weaknesses, you can try to help, you can mentor, and you can try to help. So that's what we would like to do. But we are happy that we have this opportunity. We have information from BPW, from UN Women, from ITC, all the partners that BPW linked us to are working very, very strongly here. And the newest partner that has come on board is MasterCard. MasterCard is here to work with young people. In particular, they're targeting the young people. So the fact that we are BPW, we're ready, we're here, we have women that are ready to participate in anything is a big advantage, and they look for us. And we hope that will not change. But our challenge is to grow the membership, and so we need some ideas on how to do that and not remain small. We had a project with our sister BPW Taiwan. We were able to put up a school. It has 60% girls, which is in the village, in the rural areas, and that is going very, very well. We are grateful that through BPW, we were able to meet our representative from Taiwan, who was able to, through their foundation, sponsor a school in Uganda and actually visit us as well. Yes. We are happy to be part of the Africa team, the BPW Africa, with our members from Africa. We have a WhatsApp group and we communicate. I thank you very much for listening to me. That was Uganda in a nutshell. We don't have much time to take you through everything we do, but I hope that you now can see Uganda BPW.
Thanks to all 4 of our wonderful speakers in this video on sustainability and succession planning and the connectedness between the two. So there are things that we can do for the sustainability of our affiliate and our organization on the whole that don't have to do with succession planning. But without good succession planning, planning for and making sure they're well prepared, the next executive and the next executive and the next executive, without that, we also can't sustain. As well, the emphasis on young BPW. If we're not attracting young members, we are not sustainable. So that needs to be a big emphasis in all of our affiliates and at the international level. So thanks again to Viks, BPW Estonia, Claudia Pirani, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Christine Berridge, New Zealand, and Maggie Kigozi in Uganda. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to our viewers for joining us once more for one of our videos here. We hope that you'll check out the other videos in our library here, and that you'll share them and share the channel link itself and the information to our upcoming webinars, which happen with a live audience once a month, with your affiliate and your BPW friends worldwide. Thanks, and hope to see you again soon.